Seriously? Son of a... No! No!
God damn it, I hate you.
Recently, I've been getting more and more shorts in my feed of people playing these crazy Kaizo Super Mario levels, and some of them I think to myself, I could probably do that. But then part of me realized that I haven't even played the real game in like 15 or 20 years. I can't really remember the last time I dusted off Super Mario World, but it may have been when I was still in college. I know I played the hell out of the game when I was a kid because I was poor and I only had like 10 games for my SNES. Well, more like 15 if you count all the games on Mario All-Stars as their own game. But even with that, I didn't have the hugest of varieties of games back then. And with that limited library and Super Mario World being one of the best games of the ones I had, that meant I played the game a lot. Like a lot. That was until I got my N64 though, and then I didn't want to waste my time with these gross-ass 2D games anymore.
Ew!
Basically, I was just as bad as the people who nowadays complain if a game doesn't play at 800 frames per second in Super Mega Ultra 1000K HD Super Mega. But then older, nostalgic me was like, I wonder if I could even still beat that game, especially getting all the exits after such a long time. So I figured why not give it a shot. And now my original plan, I was going to try to not allow myself to go back to top secret area or previous levels to power up. So if I died, I'd have to start off each level as Small Mario. But quickly a couple levels in, I realized just how rusty I am and I decided, f*** that. The one thing I didn't do though was farm blue Yoshis like I used to. The blue Yoshis let you take any shell of a Koopa and lets you fly over most of the level, so I thought that was a little bit too much cheating, and I only ended up doing that twice, and it was on levels that I could have done. It's just I didn't feel like doing them the proper way, so it is what it is. There was also one other major problem, and that's that I don't have a Super Nintendo anymore. Stupid broke-ass college kid me didn't know 20 years ago that retro games were going to be such a pricey thing, so I sold my system back then for probably $100 or so. So I ended up playing this on my PlayStation Classic with RetroArch. Now, I'm not any kind of gaming purist by any means, so I don't know how accurate the emulation is, but it looked fine to me. The controls, though, did seem a little bit off, but that might have been the controller instead of the actual gameplay. Like, I know Mario has always been kind of slippery, but it felt like it wasn't controlling quite right. And, I mean, I don't even remember how long ago it came out, but when Mario Wonder came out, I made it through that whole game without too much problems. Like, I made it 99.9%, that final level with all the gimmick stuff. I died maybe 100 times, and I decided 99.9 is good enough for me. But this time I'm playing on the PS Classic controller, which only has like specific buttons for up, down, left, right. So instead of having the full plus sign D-pad of a Super Nintendo controller, you only have the actual directions. And I don't know if that was the issue, but it does seem like that was maybe the issue. I also remember the SNES D-pad being kind of soft, so maybe that was also it. All I know is that by the end of this play, my left hand was killing me, so I was either gripping it too hard or just not playing right, or maybe the muscle memory was fighting against the wrong controller or something. I don't know. Alright, now starting off with Yoshi's Island, and right off the bat I could definitely tell I was rusty. Simple things like trying to hit this block with a shell and then bounce off the bullet for a 1-up, they didn't work as easily as they used to for me. And even something like in the second level, I tried to do the kick the shell thing against all these Koopas and get my 1-up there, but I completely whiffed it.
You suck!
I also got hit a lot, so I kept losing my fire flowers and my mushrooms and my Yoshis. So yeah, I definitely didn't do as well as I thought I was gonna do, but at least I didn't die at all. That no deaths thing didn't last long though, as I died on the first level of Donut Plains, which used to be one of the easiest levels. And then even before I actually died, the level itself was being way more trouble for me than it should have been. This is a great level to get feathers on, and I used to be able to fly over the majority of it, and when I did land, like I landed in the perfect spots where I could just pick it up and keep running and fly again. And then even at the end part, I had such a hard time flying up to get the secret exit, and that's another thing I used to be able to do with and without Yoshi without any kind of problem at all. I didn't die again until Morton's Castle, and I just slipped off and got squished, so I don't know if that's the controls, or the Slippy Mario, or if the game's just being an unfair cheating-ass bitch. Then I made it through there, and then into Vanilla Dome, and this was my first time where I ended up having to backtrack to Top Secret Area.
Like a bitch.
Which is going to be a recurring thing. Lemmy's Castle was the first one where I had a bunch of deaths and was starting to get a little bit annoyed already. I ended up dying 4 times on this level, and it was all in this part with the stupid Magic Koopa. On the last one, I was able to go through the P-switch door, and I got the checkpoint if I would have ended up needing it, but I ended up beating it on that try, so I ended up not needing it. A little bit further, I died a couple times on Cheese Bridge, and then I did beat that though and made it down to Soda Lake. And this level's always been rough, just because there's so much going on. And being an underwater level and with all the enemies, you get a bit of slowdown going on here. And it just seems like if you get hit once, you're dead, because there's so much going on with the bullets and the fish and everything all around you. I mean, the first time I played it, I almost got to the exit. I ended up dying right at the very end by the pipe. Shit! But oh well, it was only 3 deaths overall. Made it through Ludwig's Castle with only 1 death, and then the forest is where things started getting really bullshitty. Luckily, they were nice enough to have that water level with the green block right there at the start, so that's where I was doing most of my power-up farming. And I needed a bit of that, because I did die a good amount here. Forest of Illusion 4, I died 4 times, and then the Fortress was the first one that was really shitty. I ended up dying 7 times, and I only know that because when I went back and looked at the footage, because I thought it was way more, but that's because I had to go back each time to that water level and grab myself 2 feathers so I could try it again.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
I tried once to fly over the lava part near the end, and I think if you do that, there's like a checkpoint there for the boss. I can't remember 100% because I know I usually didn't do it as a kid either. But yeah, then I made it to the boss, and I ended up dying on them a couple times too. It's rough to hit them and then not fall into the lava, and then also watch out for their fireballs at the same time. At least when you beat that fortress though, it does open a way to Star It Road, which does get you back to Top Secret Area quicker if you need it. But then right after the fortress, I did the castle, and I died 6 times here, so it was technically a little bit better, but this was also just super frustrating. And again, the controls just didn't feel right. Some of the deaths kind of felt cheap, but whatever. Alright, now that was an ordeal, and it definitely felt like the difficulty ramped up in that world. But at least I finally finished it off and made it to the land of chocolate! And now the actual chocolate world itself wasn't too bad. The only level I had a ton of trouble with was the secret level. And I mean, it is part of it, but since it's kind of in Bowser's area, I'm assuming that's supposed to indicate that it's a slightly harder level, because even though it's up on the cliff, it's still in Bowser's Valley. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself to cope. But yeah, the first death, I just immediately died right off the bat and then lost everything. And with that, I had to make one of many long, arduous walks of shame back to Top Secret Area to get fully powered back up. After that though, I didn't have too much problem with the forest or the castle. Forest I only died once, and the castle I died 3 times, but overall still wasn't too terrible. It was just the timing on some of those spiky things that got me. Then I did the ghost ship, died twice there, but not too terrible, and then on into Valley of Bowser. And the regular levels here weren't too bad again. I did have a little bit of trouble with the ghost house, getting that secret exit, and it's kind of annoying because you only get 1 try without having to finish the level and restart. It doesn't let you like go through and try the P-switch thing over and over and over again. And a couple times it felt like I should have been able to slide through the gap, but it just wouldn't let me. But it took me 5 tries, which was kind of a pain, but also it wasn't the worst thing ever. Then Valley Bowser 3, that's one of the ones I went back and got a blue Yoshi just so I could fly over most of it, because this is another like really busy level with a lot going on, so I just figured I would do that. The fourth level, I died twice, and it was only annoying because you could see the Star Road warp right there. But since it wasn't unlocked, I had to go the long way back instead of being able to just warp right there. But it is what it is. The fortress, I died 5 times, and luckily though, they at least put a green block right at the beginning so you don't have to leave the level to go back for power-ups. So this was one where whenever I died, I just started off the level, I didn't bother going back. And then Larry's Castle. I died a dozen times on this one, so thank God the Star Road Warp was finally open. And it makes sense. This is the last main castle before the final boss castle, so it makes sense for it to be one of the most difficult. Or, again, maybe I just suck. So that was it, right? I'm at Bowser's Castle, both doors are unlocked. So those of you familiar with the game may have noticed something that I didn't do earlier. But for anyone who hasn't played the game, we still have one area left.
Help! She's touching my special area!
First level's not too bad. But then we get to Tubular. Oh, Tubular, I remember you. I felt a wave of memories coming back on this one, and I was so ill-prepared for this hard-ass 4th try. I actually beat this level on the 4th try, and one try I slipped up at the beginning before I even did the balloon part, so that doesn't even count. And on the first try, I actually almost made it. I died right at the very end, and I can actually see the platform where the end goal is, so I was so close, but just didn't make it. Now this is the one I was probably dreading the most, because I remember this level as a kid. It took me weeks to beat it. I don't even know how many tries it took me to beat this level as a kid, but it felt impossible. Now though, it honestly wasn't bad. Like, objectively, this level is not as bad to replay as some of the others, since there's no reason to actually power up before going in. Small Mario is actually beneficial because of his smaller hitbox, and since the whole level takes place over a bottomless pit, if you do get hit, you're dead no matter what. No power-ups are going to save you anyway. So, unlike other levels where you die and you go back to either a close-by previous level or top secret area to get your feathers and your Yoshis, you don't even have to do that here. But with that one down, we move on to...
Way cool!
And I died 6 times on this one. This one was a little bit rough again, but nothing in particular I could point out. I was just sucking at it. And then the most of the rest of these were okay-ish, a few deaths here and there, except for Outrageous. I honestly didn't remember this one being this bad, but I died 13 times, and it felt like more since I had to do that long walk to top secret area every time. This is one, I don't know if I would ever be able to beat this one starting off as Small Mario. There's just so much crap going on, and if you get hit once with all the other enemies around, you're basically screwed. And like, especially with the bullet bills, maybe there is a way to tell when they're gonna fire. I don't remember the timing on them, so that could just be me. But yeah, there were so many times where like I'd be doing okay, and I would get hit with one thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. So I'm losing my Yoshi, losing my feather. Even if I do get the backup feather, I immediately lose that one, or more than likely, I don't even catch that one because I die before it hits me. So this one actually took me to a game over because I was getting so frustrated that I wasn't even bothering going back anywhere and farming lives or anything. But I ended up beating it on the first attempt after I continued. I did switch up my strategy. Like before, I was trying to fly over a good portion of the level, and from what I remember, I think you can, if you're good enough at flying Mario without Yoshi, you can just fly over the whole thing. But I don't have the timing remembered anymore, so I wasn't able to do it without being able to see Mario because he disappears at the top of the screen. So what I did is I slow played the level like a total pussy. So like I went through and I ate the enemies in my way instead of just trying to fly off the original platform. And then I flew over a good amount of all the bullet bill section, because that seems to be like just the valley of death. Once you get hit there, you're screwed. And then I slow played a little bit more after that, and barely made it to the exit. But hey, I made it. That's all that counts. I beat it. Outrageous, you suck. And then the last level didn't have much issue there. I didn't die at all. Another easier one. I guess that's maybe like a palate cleanse after Outrageous. So, game was done. All the exits are done. All I need to do is beat Bowser. So I head back to Bowser Valley. And like I usually did when I was a kid, and what I still do today when I go to visit your mom, I went in through the back door.
Yes, that's very funny, Chekhov.
And I died 3 times on him. Actually wasn't too bad, and it was all the deaths that I did get I do feel like were justified. They were bad timing on my part. So I was able to beat him, and that was it. So I don't know when the official speedrun rules are of when the game's over, so I just counted it as to when that last Mecha Koopa hit Bowser, which was at 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 23 seconds. So just under 6 hours for me to beat this game, which I think is alright. I just googled how long does it take to beat the game just to see how long it takes other people, and I found this how long to beat website. I don't know if they're an authority on these kind of things, but they said it takes 5 hours for the main story, 7.5 for the main plus sides, and 9.5 for completionists. I don't know what the difference is between main plus sides and completionists for this game. I'm not sure if maybe they count getting all the Yoshi coins or something. I never bother collecting those because I don't think the game actually tracks it anywhere on the map or anything. But either way, I beat it a little bit quicker than the main plus sides, so I'm going to take that as a win. My grand total of deaths, though, was 101, so that's averaging a little bit more than 1 per exit, so that's probably bad, but again, I haven't played this game in forever, and I am older, and my reflexes aren't as sharp as they used to be. Probably because I spent most of my 20s like this. So yeah, overall this wasn't too terrible. And I do honestly think some of it was the controller. I did just order a more SNES style controller off eBay that I'm going to try instead next time when I play some Super Nintendo games. Just a controller that has the proper D-pad, and I don't know, I think the button spacing is slightly different too. And it may just be like a hand feel too, like the feel of the control, the more rounded edges of the Super Nintendo controller. Who knows, maybe it'll make a difference, or maybe Mom was right all along.
Loser! You're a loser!